This is the Echo Network.
Kelly's Westport Inn presents the Royalman Report with Casey Royalman.
He's an important member of the sports atmosphere in Kansas City.
Michael Engel.
We're already off the rails.
Jeff Herr. And Chris Kamler. Music by 49 Stones and Andre and the Giants. And now, the Royalman Report.
And welcome into the Royalman Report. Chris is fiercely pushing some buttons. I don't think quite. We're gonna have to re-record that open because it didn't come across the way it was supposed to, and it was new and pretty and stuff. And so we'll re-record it, and those in the chat room will have to listen to it. But it's Monday night, and we're doing a Royalman Report because we're joined in studio by Fox 4. How cool is that?
Say hi, Fox 4.
Hello. So Fox 4 in studio, we shot over to him. If you're in the chat room at royalmanreport.com, you would have saw that. But we're also joined on the phone today. We're going to get right into it, kind of like we did yesterday. Today we're joined by host of Three Guys in a Garage, Jay Binkley. Jay, how you doing?
Hey, what's going on tonight, fellas?
None much. And as I was telling the guys yesterday, and some people know this, some don't, Three Guys in a Garage is actually an important part of this show because had it not been for Three Guys in a Garage taking Casey Royalman under their wing for several months last year, or I guess it's almost been 2 years now, we wouldn't even have this show. And so we always are very thankful.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, right?
Way to go.
And
We got
him to blame.
And for those of you in the studio, you can see my sexy, or not in the studio, but on the chat room, you can see my sexy Three Guys in a Garage hat that I'm rocking tonight for the show. So Jay is the
right
host.
on, Troy.
Right. Jay's the host of Three Guys in a Garage. He's on 810 Sports now. Was on 1510. Started off doing a podcast or a internet radio show just like we are, and now worked his way up to 810. Also does high school football for those guys over there at 810, and all around good guy. So how you doing today, Jay?
Hey, we're doing great, man. You guys are doing good work on the show, man. Good stuff. You got you got Fox 4 in there. Did you guys put the makeup on?
Troy always wears makeup.
He always says that.
Okay.
I never wear makeup.
Okay.
Troy's lying.
We both know what the truth is.
It's Ultimate Warrior makeup, but it's still makeup.
That would actually be pretty awesome.
No.
Just to show
Cool.
up
We should
one
all
day.
show up.
I
That
feel
would
bad
be
for putting that
fantastic.
idea in
I
his
could roll
head now.
I could roll your
We're not
music
doing
if you
that
want to,
today. It's a
Engel.
special day.
Man.
Off the rails already. Sorry,
This
Jay.
is like Christmas Day for you guys, man. I mean, I put a chaw in just to get ready for this interview. Kenny Powers premiered season 3 last night. I mean, is this not baseball season or what?
It's baseball season.
Boom. There it is.
So
No, it's Linsanity. Have you not been watching SportsCenter? It's basketball season.
Yes.
the Knicks have had more time on SportsCenter this week than the NHL had all last year.
Linsanity had 3 times the amount of comment or they said Linsanity 3 times more than they said Tebow during the height of Tebow mania. So.
Good Lord. Well, Jay, let's get back to you.
Sorry.
Somehow here. Tell us a little bit about Three Guys in a Garage and how you got started.
Well, we started out in a garage. We didn't have this fancy basement setup that you guys have with heat and running water and all that stuff. We went out in the garage, man, and we couldn't really use any kind of heater because we didn't want the fumes going up in my neighbor's house. So we just kind of roughed it out there, man, with stocking caps, gloves on, man, and did a show out in the garage where it was so cold our beer would freeze.
That's terrible.
Well, you guys have this fancy setup, man, so we just decided to do this thing, out in the garage, kind of like what you guys are doing, man. It's a lot of fun.
So now, and then you went through 1510, which is where I met you guys at, was when you had your show over on 1510, which would be Chased Away by Daylight. And then now you're big time in it over at 810. So when can the people hear you on 810? Is it still all over the place, or have they kind of given you guys a slot yet?
Well, last year was a little more consistent during Royal season because we do a lot of the post-game wrap-up and stuff. But, it's kind of mixed around UMKC basketball and K-State basketball on 810, and we usually find ourselves on a couple nights a week over there. This week will be Wednesday and Thursday night, and then we've been doing college game day on Saturday mornings. But usually a couple times a week during the weeknights we get a chance to go on there late at night and enjoy it.
Hey, that Saturday morning show, I was listening to it this weekend. I've been listening to it the last couple of weeks because it just so happens I'm usually going to the gym or I mean, come on, let's be honest.
Right.
I'm coming home from the bar, but that Saturday morning show is really good because you get to take sound clips from basically the entire week of all the 810 shows, and I think it works really well for you because it makes you sound like you know a little bit about everything, which clearly we know you don't, but still. It's a nice little wraparound show, so I did want to throw that out to you.
Oh, I appreciate that. No, they have a lot of good interviews on during the week, and we'll take some stuff from them, and then I try to usually talk to somebody from one of the schools, the voice of the Baylor Bears or whomever, and then we usually have a guy that joins us, kind of like a basketball analyst, weaved around the different clips, and try to have a little fun with it. But this weekend show should be a lot of fun with Missouri and Kansas.
Oh, yeah.
Speaking of which, we'll actually let's dig into that a little bit. Missouri, Kansas.
Was that this weekend?
I think it is this
happens
weekend.
to be this weekend.
Oh, very nice.
Are you ready, Chris?
Our lovely host here tries to put the KU flag upside down.
Like a scoundrel.
Yeah, exactly. So, Jay, let's looking forward to Saturday. You know, I know KU and MU both have games this week before that, but the big game. I mean, this. For the Big 12, this is all the marbles. Last time they're going to play. I mean, it's for the foreseeable future, really, in season. So, I mean, what are your impressions of this game coming forward? Who do you got? What are your thoughts on this?
You know what, man? I just hate to see this game go away. They got to figure out a way to do it. I mean, you hear different guys nationally. I mean, Jay Billis is saying they can't let this thing go away. They got to keep this thing rolling. And, you know, unless they meet in the Big 12 tournament, this fun rivalry could come to an end, just kind of like Pittsburgh and West Virginia, the backyard brawl. You know, sometimes with conference expansion, it goes away. You know, I've liked Missouri all season. However, I thought they would win when they played in Columbia, but I have to lean towards Kansas this weekend playing in Allen Fieldhouse.
Yeah, you know, and I think it's I originally, I mean, Missouri before that Kansas, the first KUMU game, Missouri scared me all season, and I thought they were the better team, to be honest. And I'm a huge KU fan, and in full disclosure here, but so that was. But I thought KU, you could almost say they outplayed them pretty much for about 58 minutes in that game, more or less. And then, but you know what? You got to play, or not 58 minutes.
What did the scoreboard say at the end of the game?
But you got to play 40 minutes, and that's what went wrong. So I mean, I think that is kind of what gives me a little bit of confidence. Plus,
well,
is there any harder place?
I mean, it couldn't have been a better atmosphere for college basketball. I mean, the adrenaline just had to have been flowing for Missouri. I mean, that was it resonated on TV. It was a great atmosphere, and yet it took to the very end to win the game. It'll be the opposite of that going to Allen Fieldhouse, and the way Jeff Withey, has been playing lately. It's just going to be awful tough to Missouri to go in there. Not saying they're not as good of a basketball team as the Kansas Jayhawks. With all things being equal, I'm always side toward home court advantage.
Well, I do agree. I think if Mizzou could win in Lawrence, it would have to take a monumental feat. I mean, you're going to have to overcome the crowd. You're going to have to overcome whatever type of monster Jeff Withey has suddenly become that didn't show up in Columbia, and you're going to have to overcome a damn good Kansas team as well. So,
with possible player of the year, Thomas Robinson. I mean, he's
that guy.
The great.
Yeah, he's all right.
He's been having an okay season, I guess you
okay.
could say, right up there with Wilt Chamberlain and the history of Kansas basketball.
But how about Baylor, man? How about Baylor losing to Kansas State? I mean, I thought that this conference right now is so top-heavy with Kansas and Missouri, and it almost makes me wonder the whole validity of the conference. How good is this conference? Because you have Baylor that had just beaten everybody until they lose to Kansas State, and then Baylor can't even come close to beating Kansas and Missouri. So how good is the rest of the Big 12? I mean, are they feasting on cupcakes here, or are these two teams tournament ready? And I think that's a question that's still unanswered.
You know, we had Jerry in here from Fox 4. He's their photographer, and he was doing a little roundtable interview with all of us before the show. We actually said during the interview that we consider Michael Engel to be our Scott Drew of our program, which is
that's
true.
The worst thing you ever said to
What
me.
was that, man?
Man.
He's great at pulling co-hosts into the show, but how they perform when they get there is
right.
just up in the air. No one knows.
Ingle leaves the show with 3 timeouts every single time. Never calls him.
Oh, I'm pretty sure he called a timeout several times a couple weeks ago. he just didn't get the referee's approval.
Sorry,
on it.
Jay, you didn't really sign up for this, but I apologize for
But
Is
back
Westmar still sitting on your couch?
Who's that?
Is
Westmar.
Westmar still sitting on your couch?
No, he's not here. No. We had to disinfect that thing after Brad Westmar left.
Little known fact: Brad Westmar and Three Guys in a Garage are friends as well. They and same with Three Guys in a Garage used to be on Jackalope Radio right before the Big Dumb Fun Show, which is the studio we used to use. So it all kind of comes back together. It all ties together.
Hey, Jay, I actually heard that you and Brad Westmore have a common law marriage in Maryland. Is that correct?
No, that is
not correct. Okay, sorry.
That is not true.
Just
But
wanted to
you know
clear that
what
up.
a great podcasting community you guys have built up there with the Rambling Morons, the Royalman Report. Good stuff, man. You guys ought to be proud of that stuff, man. It's good quality stuff.
Well, we're having a lot of fun. We're quite sure that the whole thing's going to catch fire and go away here in about 10 minutes. But we're having a hell of a lot of fun.
Literally and figuratively.
So we're on the phone here with Jay Binkley of Three Guys in a Garage on 810 Sports. He's got about 10 more minutes, and then he actually has to go do real work at a real radio station instead of screwing around.
No, not tonight, Troy.
Oh, not
he's
tonight?
off tonight.
Oh,
now,
I was
yeah.
thinking you were. I was thinking you were doing something at the radio station tonight. Well, either way, our pitching rotation. We talked to Danny Duffy last night, and we asked him, are you guys going to surprise people? And of course, he's like, yeah, people are really underestimating us, and such and such. And what do you think of this pitching staff? What has to happen for there to be any sort of a decent season out of that staff?
Well, you have to like the confidence. First of all, there seems like a confident bunch. Hey, we're going to go out there and prove ourselves. It's almost like they have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder when you hear them talking in spring training, and that'll be the key because, this Royals lineup is built to score runs. And if the pitching lets them down, it's going to be evident. And it will be seen as we go through this season. If the Royals are putting up 7, 8, 9 runs and not holding the lead, what are people going to think of this pitching staff? Right now, that's the weakness of this baseball team is this starting pitching. Now, can they turn it around and have a good season? They absolutely can. I think they're going this season with a little bit of a chip on their shoulder and wanting to prove themselves because the first thing you notice as a fan is if the team is scoring a lot of runs and you're not able to win games and you're getting to your bullpen in the 4th inning, what good is that?
Yeah, we actually Danny Duffy gave us a pretty good quote yesterday, and I think he repeated on some terrestrial stations today where he was like he wants to get that chip off his shoulder and he wants to just go out and he didn't quite do the Alex Gordon I want to go out and dominate it but that's certainly going to be one of the phrases that I don't know, Ingle, that's going to be one of the phrases I think might resonate because he was on just about every radio station today and our show last night. And he said he wasn't going to put up with the haters anymore.
Yeah, just talking with him last night, he seemed just completely pumped, ready to go out there and improve. And what he's said all offseason has been right on. He's talking about how he wants to go deeper into games. He's talking about how he wants to locate his pitches better so that he's not just trying to out-stuff everybody. He's trying to out-pitch people. But then the rest of the staff, you have Luke Hochaver, who, I haven't talked to him, but I have to imagine he wants to live up to his first overall billing in some sense. And if you look at his second half last year, he's making those strides. So, and then you've got, the other guys, Felipe Paulino and Jonathan Sanchez, and, those guys are going to be the strikeout artists on this roster. And for me, anytime you have a pitcher who can strike out 8, 9 batters per game, that's a guy I'm willing to take a shot with just because good things happen when you miss those bats.
But it's exactly right. As long as Danny Duffy is not trying to press when he gets out there and go for the strikeout, because he is coming in with a bit of that chip on his shoulders he's been talking about. And the key will be, not to go out there and just try to overwhelm people. Stay with what he can do. Keep the anger under control and just do the things that he can do out there and not worry about going out there and shutting people up and whatever. Just going out there and worrying about his job and doing the right thing. You can say all you want, but it's the actions that speak louder than words. But, I think from top to bottom, this team is ready to get going. As a matter of fact, I remember last year Dick Cagle wrote an article and on MLB.com, and he put some quotes in here from David Glass, and he says, I think Dayton's got us headed in the right direction. I think by the middle of the year and next year that all of us as fans can begin to enjoy some of the work they put in during the last 4 years. And I think that, this is one of those years we're going to start seeing some of the fruits of the labor. I mean, Dayton Moore has come in here. He's put the farm system in, and now it's time to see these guys out and playing. And, of course, Danny Duffy, a big piece in this whole picture that they've kind of put together here for the last couple of years.
Yeah, and, Jay, with you bring up Dayton Moore, and he's done such a fantastic job building up this Royals farm system. And then I'm gonna use that to kind of segue over into the other general manager across the street, talking about Scott Pioli, and especially with big news today, signing Stanford Routt. Not necessarily huge news in and of itself, but more so because that probably means that Brandon Carr is all gone, or is going to be gone. I mean, what are your thoughts on that signing today and the implications for the Chiefs? And do you think this is the right move, or do you think, this is a huge mistake?
Yeah, I don't think it's a huge mistake. I mean, it can be a good move. I mean, Stanford Routt is one of those guys that, he did get the advantage of playing next to Nnamdi Asomugha on the other side, except for last season. And, it's a good move. It's going to be, Brandon Carr, I think, was developing, and that's the hardest part for me, is that they had a chemistry building with this secondary. You had Brandon Flowers and Brandon Carr coming to age kind of together, and then you had Kendrick Lewis and Eric Berry that came into the league together. And, the year that they were, at the beginning of the year, they were all together, and then Eric Berry got hurt. And what was so instrumental is you had those two safeties in Kendrick Lewis and Berry that had a year of NFL experience under their belt. They were used to seeing what the offenses are going to throw at them, and you can process it. The second year, so much better for a safety than the first, because you can kind of piece together everything. And I look forward to this unit, going forward together from years to come, because football is all about trust. And I thought the secondary was starting to come together, where the safeties knew exactly where the corners would be. And now you throw a new guy into the equation, somebody else they're going to have to get used to. When you can piece that whole secondary together for a while, look out. You look at some of the best secondaries in the history of the NFL. These guys knew exactly where they were going to be at all times. And you take Brandon Carr out, and now you're having to get used to somebody new. All things being equal, I like to keep your own guys rather than going outside, although I don't think this is a horrible signing. Stanford Rout's obviously a good football player.
Hey, Jay, I don't know if you saw I think you've been in and out of Twitter tonight, but somebody tweeted Brandon Carr a few minutes ago and said, I don't want you to leave. If you leave, I'm going to play Adele songs all day long. And then he tweeted back to her. He says, "Well, what song? I'll start playing it now." So he kind of knows the writings on the wall.
I saw that too. That's what I was looking for as we were talking there. And I do remember. Like I said, when you can keep things together and keep some continuity, especially things like a secondary, I think it's key. But Stanford Rout's going to come in here. They threw some cash at him. So let's see what happens. And the Chiefs have other fish to fry now with this football team. The interesting thing is going to be in the NFL this year is this franchise tag, because it's different rules this year under the CBA, where you don't get the salary of the top five at your position. They do a mathematical formula and can reconsider over the last 5 years into that formula. So it's not a great deal to get the franchise tag thrown on you. So it's going to be interesting to see how some of these players in the NFL react to the franchise.
So what do you think they're going to have you doing for Royals pre or post this year? How do you think that's going to happen?
I don't know yet. I don't know how any of that's going to shake down yet. I had a lot of fun doing it last year, and enjoyed the callers after about 9 beers rolling out in the parking lot and giving us a call. That was a good time. Now,
you're not going to do any more soccer post game, are you?
You know what? I don't think so. I think that was
seen one and
as
only
a soccer post-game show, but it wasn't actually. We were just doing a show from the stadium, but somehow it got turned into a soccer post-game, and
that needs
I've
to
had
go
to learn a little bit more about soccer lately.
That needs to go in the Three Guys in the Garage Hall of Fame, and I'll reset it. I think it was after one of the playoff games, and you guys just happened to come on. Or, no, you guys were all out there. And so you were doing.
Yeah, it was a regular season game at the end of the year.
Yeah, so you guys were doing your normal show. You just happened to be in the studios out at Livestrong Sporting Park, and you had all these soccer fans calling up. They're like, "Well, you guys don't know anything about soccer," and they were really up in your kitchen. But you guys were doing the best you could. I think Troy and I both called in that night.
We called it a field instead of a pitch and all that. But you know what? I grew up calling it a field, and anytime I ever saw a sign, it said soccer fields, right?
Yeah.
And so I have to get used to the new terminology. But I've been following it a little more closely. I don't know if we can sit there and break down the dynamics of the game, but yeah, we were certainly brutalized for our soccer knowledge.
Yeah. So actually, I think you guys want another question for Jay before we go to commercial here.
Well, I was just going to say on the whole soccer thing, it was quite the episode, and like Fake Ned said, we both called in under our personas because I think there had been a Royals game that day too. So you guys were kind of balancing both the soccer post game and the Royals news and doing a three guys show, and the soccer fans just did not take kindly to the fact that you were out there at the stadium and you didn't seem to know what was going on. And I love that Jay he's clever enough that he can take the beatings pretty well and has the wits to come back at him and really rolled with it quite well.
I'm going to tell it like it is too. And when we came on, I said, listen, we're football guys, we're baseball guys, we're this. I'm not a soccer guy. I came out here with an open mind to see if I liked this experience. And I didn't make any holds barred. I wasn't going to sugarcoat it or anything else. I was just going to say, tell it like it is and how I felt, which is how I think, you should approach things. And I said, listen, I came out here. I don't understand some of the things that people do, but I'll tell you this much, and I was very honest. I thought it was a great fan experience.
That's a great stadium.
I don't think I'm going to sit around and watch other MLS games around the country, but I would definitely go out there, drink some beer, and sit with those Cauldron guys because, that's one of the best fan bases in soccer. So I thought as far as a fan experience, they hit a complete home run. Now, as far as knowing the terminology and, and all the other things with soccer, I think they take too much offense to it. It's kind of like just relax, let people, it's almost like people want to force it down your throat a little bit. The fans like, well, you got to like it. You got to like it. This is what you do. No, it's an acquired taste, and you have to learn to like it. And so, I was willing and having an open mind to try to see if, we could like it. I'll be honest with you, going out there on a summer afternoon having some beers be a great time.
Well, Jay, I think you handled it right, and you kind of hit it on the nose. I still haven't been out there. I really want to go out to Livestrong. I think it's a beautiful place, but definitely follow Three Guys in a Garage on Twitter. I don't know how much you guys keep up the website. I know it used to be real important, but they have sportstalkinkc.com is the Three Guys in a Garage website. Check that out as well. Kind of keep an eye on that from time to time, but definitely follow them on Twitter at Three Guys in a Garage, and follow them on Facebook. On Twitter, it's just the number 3 Guys in a Garage, and then on Facebook it's Three Guys in a Garage, all one word. 3 is spelled out. Follow them on Facebook as well, and then you can keep up with all of Jay's doings on 810. But we got to get out to a break here, and we're going to be back on the other side with Jason Adam. But thanks again to Jay from Three Guys in a Garage on 810 Radio. We'll be right back on the Royalman Report.
All right, what are you doing this weekend?
Gonna grab a beer somewhere. What do you have in mind?
I heard about this awesome new bar downtown. What are you doing this weekend?
Gonna grab a beer somewhere. What do you have in mind?
I heard about this awesome new bar downtown. It's called Rage. The waitresses have a contest to see who has the most piercing.
No, man, that's not really my scene.
Well, there's another bar close by called Spit Cup. Check it out. The bartenders wear chaps, and every hour they shoot a guy.
No, seriously, I just want a bar where I can sit down and watch the game.
Okay, I've got just the place. It's called Lilac. You sit on pillows, and you drink from eucalyptus leaves.
No, Ned, but I just want a place where I can get a cheap drink and watch the football game.
Okay, I got it. This place, it's got a TV. It's called 816. All their drinks come in NBA hats.
Man, I just want a place like Kelly's.
Oh, you mean Kelly's Westport Inn? No, they've got all the basketball and bowl games. They've even got a heated roof. The view is really nice, too, if you know what I'm saying. Why didn't you just say you wanted to go to Kelly's?
Kelly's Westport Inn, 500 Westport Road. Make it your place to go any time of the week. Tell them the Royalman Report sent you.
Come to Spit Cup this week. We'll let the person who has the highest bar tab ride the bull. We don't have any TVs in our bar, but we make our own entertainment. Mondays, it's free cover charge to anybody with a gun rack in their pickup truck. Tuesdays, we've got $8 beer night. All domestic beers are on special for only $8. It's Spit Cup. Wednesdays is longest tobacco spit. Thursdays is foot fungus night. Friday night is jamboree night. Bring your crap kicking in your 10-gallon hats. And this weekend you get our world-famous Spit Cup girls. You get to pick which one has the most teeth. It's Spit Cup.
No love letters, talking to the wall.
Or you could go to Kelly's Westport Inn. The highest quality drinks with the lowest prices. You know what we do. Drinks, friends, plenty of TV showing sports. They've got all the basketball and all the baseball on. Live music on the weekends. The best pizza in Kansas City, and fun. Kelly's has the best rooftop patio in town and is voted one of the best places in Kansas City to check out the view, if you know what I mean, and maybe make a new friend. Make the best choice for your evening entertainment, Kelly's Westport Inn. Kelly's is at 500 Westport Road in Kansas City, Missouri. Kelly's Westport Inn. Tell them the Royalman Report sent you.
And I think you guys are even flirting on Twitter a little bit this week.
Maybe it's a bromance.
So I'll be starting my annual boycott of the corporate marketed fiasco called Valentine's Day soon.
And what I'm saying here is the wine has never let me down. Ha, ha, ha. Miss you, Mike.
And they're off. Wiener to wiener. Here they come. And it's ketchup by 3 lengths.
But seriously, we're going to kill Friends in Low Places, right?
No.
And you're the fake Ned.
You
ooze class.
We need to present you with a burrito.
Correct.
And you're going to eat said burrito
really fast
in a bra. If you're ready, here we go.
Here comes Woody.
Oh. There you go, creepy people on the internet.
And welcome back into the Royalman Report. That was Jay Binkley of 810 Sports, 3 Guys in a Garage. Follow him on Twitter at 3 Guys in a Garage. He has hung out in our chat room before at royalmanreport.com. But
he's in there right now.
Yeah, I think he's in there right now. One thing about it, we've been joined by all sorts of stars on this show, but in the beginning there was only a few, and one of those few was our good friend Jason Adam. And Jason Adam once again joins us from the Arizona Sports Complex and spring training for the Royals. Jason, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for taking this call on short notice. We thought we had Nate Bukaty lined up for today, and he's stuck in Topeka somewhere.
You're a bigger deal than he is,
yeah.
though, so quite frankly, you're awesome.
So they're like,
I'm glad to be on here.
They're like, we're short a guest. I'm like, no, we're not. I'll ask Jason to come on. I'm sure he'll come on with us because you've always been good about that. So, but Jason, we're going to talk a little bit of baseball, and then we're going to talk about some other things with you too. But first question is, you've been down in Arizona for a while already. You and Bubba and Lane Adams and a few others. What's been going on down at spring training before spring training?
I mean, it's pretty relaxing. There's probably 15 or so people out here most off season, and we just work out and hang out. It can be boring, so when me, Lane, and Bubba get together, we try to make it a little bit more fun.
Well, and that's kind of something we wanted to talk about. You and Bubba Starling, kind of let everybody know you grew up in Kansas City, in the Kansas area, and you've known Bubba Starling for quite a few years, right?
Yeah, I've known him since my sophomore year.
And you guys have obviously, if anybody follows you on Twitter, which they can do it, Jason_Adam, ADAM, and then the number 9 on the end. You've seen the bromance that is the tripod of Lane Adams, Bubba Starling, and of course yourself. Tell us about how that came to be, this tripod.
I think it's just fate. But but I mean, me me and Lane and Matt Ridings, another kid in the organization, hung out all the time last off season, and then Bubba came out, and we were obviously friends, and so it was me, Bubba, and Lane out here during instructs, and so we all hung out, and the chemistry was just undeniable.
Now, I actually have a question. There is a picture on your Twitter feed currently. You guys are really taking this tripod nickname to kind of a higher level. Can you maybe explain what's going on? I believe that's a picture of you on top of a couple of fellas. One of them's Bubba Starling and Lane Adams. What's going on there, man?
Well, we just thought we could take the tripod. If we were going to take it seriously, we had to have matching Twitter profile pictures. So we thought, what better way than to do a little human pyramid and have each person be on top for their own profile picture.
Now, what did the guy who at the Royals organization, what did the general manager at Kane County say when he saw about $7 million in signing bonuses goofing around on a hotel bed?
I don't know if they've seen it, but I kind of hope they don't.
Well, good for you. Nobody watches this show.
People are asking who took this picture, or these pictures, I should say.
We set up the MacBook and had it take the picture. We tried to have the Kia Tigers, the Korean team we're in, we tried to ask them to take our picture, but they weren't responding correctly, so did it on our own.
They didn't want any of this on their hands. They didn't want anybody
didn't want
putting
any
back
part
in
of that
anything.
tripod action. No.
See, and I had seen these pictures when they went up because I follow all three of you and what have you. But I think it was Chris that had never seen these pictures before the other day.
No, I'm crying. Yeah,
and I showed him, and he's like, there's $8 million worth of signing bonuses on that bed. What if one of them gets hurt? I'm sure that went through somebody's head at some point, but it obviously wasn't anything that went through too much. But yeah, that's kind of funny that you said you don't think that they've seen it yet, and you wouldn't be too upset if they don't see it.
Hey, we should probably not. We should probably not tell Jason that a guy from Fox 4 is recording this show right now. So
right? Yeah.
We'll slip him a $20 bill. Well, you're okay with us, man. It's all right.
So
okay, here.
Now everybody knows who Bubba Starling is. I mean, everybody knows who Bubba Starling is. It's probably safe to say that you're not quite as famous as Bubba. Close, but probably not quite as name recognition for the organization. So if you follow all the Royals minor league guys on Twitter, Matt Ridings, you three, Bubba the other day made a remark to Matt Ridings after Matt Ridings had said something about he was staying in your guys' room, and you and Bubba are roommates, right?
Yeah, we're roommates.
Yeah. And so Matt Ridings was staying in your room on Bubba's bed, and Bubba tweeted out and he said, enjoy the queen-size bed while Jason Adams enjoys the king. And Matt Ridings tweeted back, yeah, it looks like he pulled rank on you. And I was telling these guys that. I was like, this is so funny because Jason, a player that's been in the organization for a couple of years already, is pulling rank on the $7 million man, Bubba Starling. And I got a big kick out of it, but it's the way it is, right? It doesn't matter how much money you make; it matters where you are within the prospects, I guess. And you were able to pull rank on the big guy this time.
It's all about the seniority. I got a year, and I got here first. If he would have got here first, I'd probably be the one sleeping in the little bed. But I can claim the seniority.
Now, both, like I said, both Jason Adams and Bubba Starling, or Jason Adam, I got to be careful about that. Jason Adam and Bubba Starling are both KC guys, and then Lane Adams is actually an Oklahoma guy. How long have you known Lane? Is it just from the organization?
Yeah, I just met him last off season. Really, I didn't even know him until about instructional league time. So I met him through Matt Ridings, so we all hang out.
It's just quite the funny thing. Now, you had some injury problems in your history when you were starting out with the big league process or I should say the major league process of getting to the big leagues. Where are you where are you at right now, and how's the year looking for you right now?
I feel great. I mean, arm feels great, whole body feels great. I mean, I feel stronger than I've ever been. So, I'm really excited to get this spring training started. I've had thrown 4 bullpens, and then I don't know. We got 4 days till my report date, so
that's
I'm ready to go.
That's what I kind of find fascinating, and I don't know if this is indicative of other camps, but here it is, pitchers and catchers day for the Major League squad or the 40-man, and it sounds like the entire Major League team is already down there. Most of the minor league guys are down there. You don't even report for 4 days. How long have you been down there? And would you categorize this as a typical off season? It sounds like you guys are just, like you go to a horse race and you see 3 or 4 of the horses jump the gate. It sounds like you guys are just absolutely raring to go this year.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, I was here last off season doing the same thing, and there was a few guys, but this year, it's like everybody came out early. All the big league guys, you can tell, they're pumped about this season, and they think. And I agree. I think they're going to do great. And I think this minor leagues, I think we're going to take off because we're so deep. We're all fighting for spots. That, I mean, everybody wants to get every advantage they can. And I think being out here with all the coaches is the best way to do that.
And actually, Jason, I want to ask you about that. Last year, being on Kane County, you guys had, as far as the Royals farm system, I mean, there's some good pitchers down there. That, I mean, what's it like? You got yourself and Yordano Ventura and a couple other guys who are probably going to factor into this organization going forward. So what's it like, kind of having those guys and kind of getting that camaraderie now, in the A ball that you can to move forward in the organization?
I mean, I think it's a huge thing. Like, I thought we had tons of talent on our team last year, and if we could all move up through the system together and get to Kansas City together, it's only going to help that we all know each other. We're all good friends. I mean, yeah, Ventura doesn't speak much English, but we still, we're friends as far as we can be with the language barrier. And then Chesler, too, he's obviously a stud. He speaks English, so it's good to get us all together early, I think.
Now, the Royals have made some changes both at the major league level with the new pitching coach, but they also brought in Rick Knapp to be the minor league pitching coordinator. What kind of things are being preached differently this year as opposed to last year, and what's kind of the organization's standpoint that they're communicating to all the pitchers in camp right now?
I mean, it's not totally different. Knapp, he's great. MD was great last year, but Knapp I think he seems to be a little more lenient as far as throwing programs and doing what you think works best for you, as long as you talk to him and have reasoning for it. Also we're doing more film work, which I like a lot. Like watching our bullpens, watching our games last year, so we can get the consistent delivery. He really wants us to have consistent delivery and be able to control the run game. So those are two huge factors that we've been working on this off season so far.
So what do you see that you're like your number one thing you're working on to get you that next level, to get you headed up to AA and AAA, and then of course up here in Kansas City?
There's tons of stuff I need to work on. A big one that I was terrible at last year was controlling the run game. I was really slow to the plate. I was probably like a 1.8, so they just stole all day. And I mean, I was talking to Brower, my pitching coach last year, and he's like, that probably cost you a whole point on your ERA, just because a walk or a single turns into a double, maybe even a triple, from them stealing bases. So I've been working on being quicker to the plate while still keeping my power in command.
Now, a lot of us as fans, we see statistics from camp games and from spring training, and we may see a pitcher get shelled or a guy go 0 for 4 with 4 strikeouts. In spring training, it's not really like that. You guys may go out there and a pitching coach may say, well, I really want you to work on your curveball today, so you throw nothing but curveballs for 4 innings, and you get shelled because your curveball just happens to not work or something. How does that affect your mental focus when you're going into spring training games, knowing that you might not see something that results in box scores, but you know that you're getting better every day?
Yeah, I mean, it is tough at first because, we're all extremely competitive and we want to get everybody out. But at the same, there was an extended spring training last year. I had my coach was like, "All right, start each batter off with a changeup." So I was working on my changeup, and I was just like, "All right," and it was like ball one every time. So I mean, it's tough because you want to just get the person out, but when you look big picture, you know it's what's right. It's just hard at the time.
So you played in Kane County last year, and that's considered the middle A group for the Royals. Idaho Falls is below that. Wilmington's above that. That's up in Delaware. I won't come see you if you play in Delaware, but the minute you get to Northwest Arkansas, I tell you, there will be a Royalman Report field trip down to see you play some baseball. So we got to get you. We got to get you to Arkansas, though.
I'll tell you what, Jason.
I don't want to get there.
You make it to Northwest Arkansas, and the Royalman Report will make our own picture of the tribe. We will recreate the tripod photo here in the quadrupod, and we will get that to you, and we'll make sure that ends up like on the Northwest Arkansas scoreboard when you come into pitch or something. You know, scare the other team away.
Posters.
Yeah, holding a Jason Adam, poster or something up while we're doing it.
We're huge.
We could do that. We know Eric.
Absolutely, let's do it. Let's make it happen. We're huge fans of you, man, and we appreciate you being a big friend of the show, and we cannot thank you enough. And go out and kick some ass this week. I mean, seriously, have a great camp. Is there anything in particular that you're going to that you're going to be working on, or are you just trying to get better every day?
Sorry, my phone cut out. What did you say?
Oh, that's all right. I said, is there anything in particular that you're working on this first go round, or are you just trying to get better every day?
Just trying to get better every day. I'm working on tons of stuff as far as conditioning and like getting my consistent delivery and arm strength. I mean, those are 3 things that I think about every day. But pretty much anything the pitching coach tells me he sees.
Yeah, no, that's a good attitude. Now, will Bubba be carrying your backpack to camp the first day? I mean, that's the kind of stuff we want to understand.
I want to try to get him to, but if he pays me enough money.
Well, and I think
he's got it.
I was going to say, I think he's got the money problem solved.
An issue.
So, that's too funny. Just before we wrap it up here, I do want to thank Jason for coming on. And Jason's going to come on. We had planned to come on later in the spring with the whole tripod, and we're still going to try to do that. We want to get all 3 of you on a phone call together and get a speaker phone call or something going and when you all are down there here later this month.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I think it'll be great. But it's been real interesting to follow you guys, and I hope everybody's following all 3 of you, like I said, and especially because you get a little insight into Bubba Starling on top of everything else. You get pictures of his cat and stuff like that, and we actually talked to Jason about getting Bubba Starling onto Twitter in one of our earlier interviews, and it seems like you've kind of gotten him broken in pretty well, and he seems to be doing it pretty well so far. So that was good to see. Also, Jason and Lane are working on some secret stuff for the Royalman Report, so we'll see how that turns out if it actually gets going.
It's not secret anymore.
Should be interesting.
Awesome.
They're working on doing like a Mark Tien type show for us there in
there
Arizona.
goes the secret, Troy.
Right.
Well done, nice job.
Giving it away.
Now it's even less.
We'll see if
surprise.
We'll see if we can get a little information out of Surprise from the inside, and I think it'll be a lot of fun. But anyways, we're gonna wrap it up here with you, Jason. But thank you very much for coming on with us in short notice, and thanks for everything you've done for our show so far. And we're gonna be talking to you here real soon. We'll be right back on the other side with the Royalman.
Thanks for having me on again.
No problem. We'll be right back on the other side of the Royalman Report.
Okay. Now.
Big Mid Minute.
Oh, who did that?
They say we're young and we don't know. Well, I don't know if all that's true, 'cause you got me, baby, I got you.
long day, you can only go so far. Callie, you work hard to make the moment right. Callie, you grind it out to make that time yours. Callie, you pound the pavement only to find you're getting closer. Callie, you find the peak and the peak finds you. Callie, when you find the time and she finds the time, make it Kelly. Callie. Kelly's Westport Inn can cause intimate moments and can also cause members of the opposite sex to appear more or less attractive than they actually are. You should speak to a doctor before attempting Kelly's Westport Inn, as the results might be marriage, children, or a one-night stand. Or it might just involve having some beers with your friends, eating some pizza, and watching the games on TV. I don't know. I talk pretty fast. Kelly's Westport Inn. You know when. Kelly. Tell them you came for the Royalman Report. Kelly's Westport, it's the place where you buy beer. This guy came into the bar the other day and was telling me that they had friends in town and went down to that fancy bar district downtown. They went to one of those swanky no-ball cap bars and ordered a beer. Now, this wasn't one of those imported beers. It wasn't even one of those microbrew deals. This bartender rang up the tab and he wanted $27 for 3 dadgum beers. $27 for some beers. That isn't right. That isn't fair. So he took them down to see us. We got them some nice big beers for half that price. Even had one of the ladies find a fella there. Got him some pizza. Listen, don't fall victim to those overpriced, no ball cap bars down there. You might as well take your money and throw it in the trash. Kelly's Westport, it's the place where you buy beer. Kelly's Westport Inn, tell them the Royalman Report sent you.
And welcome into the Royalman Report. I am Casey Royalman, of course, joined in studio. I guess we didn't do this in the beginning. Joined in studio here by Chris Kamler, Michael Engel, and Jeff Herr, of course, the Jeff Report.
I'm exhausted.
I am too. It's been a busy couple days.
It's been some good couple days here for the Royalman Report.
No. I mean, the rest of the week is still busy. Yeah, I mean, Wednesday I'm going to be on 610
Oh, that's
Sports.
right. Oh, that's right. Tell us about that.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, we got a date for that.
Yeah, Wednesday, it's going to be
brag.
10 a.m. Carrington Harrison got a hold of me to do a Royals roundtable on 610. The only people I know, it's going to be myself and Jeff Parker, royally speaking. I don't know who the third person is going to be.
I think it's Greg Shawn.
Yeah, I was originally told Greg Shawn.
I don't know if it's going to be it or not, but at any rate, we're going to have 3 people from Twitter / the Royals blogosphere on there. Not so sure of the format, not sure of, I don't know. I'm just going to show up and
Are you actually going in studio, or is it going to be a phone call? Nice.
Yeah,
that's going to be awesome.
It's a big deal, and I was trying to find the DM, but my Twitter app died. But
yeah, I don't know. I was texting him earlier.
No, I heard Carrington talking about it today. He was talking about it on the radio today, and he said,
"Oh, really?"
He said it was, the 2 guys you mentioned, and he actually mentioned the Royalman Report, which was cool, and he mentioned you and me on there too. So,
oh wow.
Because Danny said, "Well, now who do you know that's Royals fans?" He said, "Oh no, I talked to Royalman and Fake Ned, and they told me who to get." So.
And that's about, I guess, how it went down. Of course, we get this DM, and I'm like, well, what kind of people are you looking for? Are you looking for?
Are you looking for? Hey, I'm a clown. Well, then we got
right.
Fake
Are you
Ned.
looking for the top level? I suggested Kevin Goldstein, and he said, "Who's Kevin Goldstein?"
Yeah, well, there you go.
And so I went, okay, so you're not looking for that.
Goldstein's been on 610 like half the last week.
Yeah,
he was on Nick Wright and Danny Parker.
I think
shows.
I just
got
used
like 9 hours of footage on 610. So.
I think I had suggested like Goldstein, Goldberg, somebody else, and I was like, or depending on what and then I was like, or depending on what level you're looking for. If you're looking like fan level, then I said, well, then you need Mike, and of course, because there's no way that I'm going to let them do a Royals roundtable with fan bloggers without one of us.
As much as we tease Engel, I mean, there's no better knowledgeable guy in town about the Royals than Michael Engel. I mean, let's face it.
Dave Darby would disagree, but
now if you held a gun to my head, I will tell you that I never said that. Hey, you guys are missing the most important piece of news that we've forgotten in the last week. It's 2 more years of fake Ned Yost.
Yes.
Ned Yost got re-signed.
And I was actually not happy about this. It was
Why not?
Because I didn't
That's
like
great.
the extension yet, but actually one of the Kings of Kaufman writers brought me around and pointed me in the right direction.
Paul Thompson, yeah.
Well, you don't ever go into the last year of a manager's contract without knowing that you're going to lose that manager. I mean, it's they talked about it in Moneyball. They talked about
you want to have that continuity.
He's got to have at least 2 years, yeah.
Because I mean, let's face it. Let's be honest. I mean, at some point, Ned Yost is going to get fired. I mean,
you're exactly right.
The turnover for managers, the I guess mortality rate for managers it's ridiculous. I mean, any coaching profession, I think it's understood. But like you were saying, you want to have it in line because you don't want to go into 2013 and shift gears right when the team's trying to hit their stretch.
Well, hasn't the mantra always been with Ned Yost that he's the perfect guy to get this team to the top level, but not the perfect guy when they're there?
But they said that about Buddy Bell, and they said that about Trey Hillman too. I mean,
Buddy Bell, I think was really starting to work out. That was kind of a surprise retirement on his part, and if he wouldn't have gone, I think it would have been a little bit better. Trey Hillman was
Trey Hillman was awful.
Trey Hillman was a failed experiment. But you know what? You can't fault the Royals for making that hire though, because the Yankees were looking at him too. I mean, lots of teams were looking.
He was
at Trey
the
Hillman.
best manager, one of the best managers in Japanese history. There's something to be said for that.
And he has a lovely Christmas singing voice. Now,
That and the court will get you a phone call.
Let's take the contrarian view here.
Right.
Let's say the Royals don't jump out of the gate. They have a typical April for the Royals.
Yeah.
They have a typical May for the Royals. They're 10 games under 500 on June 1st.
I'm going to be drunk on this show every week.
Yost is gone. I think. I mean, regardless of the extension, screw the extension. If we're 10 games under 500 at June 1st with all of that garbage going on with the All-Star game, Chris Berman's coming, well, the last place Kansas City Royals again, and isn't that a shame? You got to can him before the All-Star game festivities, I would think.
Yeah, it's tough because the Royals are kind of in this weird spot where they could be contenders. If things fall right, they could be
JP's
right up in
golf
there.
mom. You can't talk to me like that in the chat room. That's rude.
They don't want you talking the negatives. And
I know.
On the subject of the chat room here at RoyalmanReport.com,
that's just wrong.
Dave Darby actually said that Mike deserves all the credit he gets, but it did hurt him a little bit to say that. So
I love the begrudging respect that I'm getting. What the heck?
Hey, better than no respect like me.
I will turn
here,
that
so
flag.
we're okay.
I will turn that flag back upside down.
Yeah, just nobody needs to know this, but every time we walk into the man cave, we've got a KU flag, and fake Ned flips it upside down as if it's in distress.
Flip the bird, baby.
Which is ridiculous, but whatever.
He won't be able to do that.
You see what he did there? You see what he did there?
Yeah, that was nice.
Play on words.
Anyway, let's move on. And Ned Yost, if they're down, who knows? Because you want to have somebody who's going to be able to turn this team around and actually get them somewhere.
Let's just hope that he doesn't get fired like he did in Milwaukee.
In the middle of a playoff race.
Yeah, where he's falling apart.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen because there he pretty much lost the clubhouse. In this case, these guys are as close as I've seen any team that I remember following.
Plus, now, I don't think you have – I look at – we have young – the Brewers had Brewers had a Troy moment there.
That's going in the
open. The Brewers had lots of young talent come together, the Ryan Braun and your Prince Fielder and guys like that. And Royals have a similar scenario with your Hosmers and your Moustakas and those people. But I look at an Eric Hosmer, and I don't see a guy like Prince Fielder from a off-the-field perspective, in the sense that you could see how with those type of guys in Milwaukee, someone like Ned Yost could lose a locker room. But I look at Eric Hosmer and I see just like upbeat, nothing but positive, great clubhouse guy. Ned Yost is gonna have to do something really bad to lose him,
right?
And Frank Cooler and Moustakas, and lose all those guys. I mean, they are the real deal, not just on the field, on and off the field.
At every level, Moustakas has been noted as a leader. One of the guys, great clubhouse guy, really energetic, really positive, gets people together. And I think when you have that, when you've got guys like Sal Perez, who's exactly the same way. I mean, pitchers love to throw to Sal Perez. Everybody I've talked to about Sal Perez, just they rave about him.
He's got a huge smile on his face. He loves playing baseball, loves coming to the park every day. And you know what? That's the kind of thing you like to hear.
Yep.
And when it comes down to it, I mean, those are the kinds of players that, Hosmer, we all hold out hope that he's going to stay here, but conventional wisdom is going to tell you that he's gone.
We've at least got him till 2017.
Exactly, but someone like Sal Perez, who he can be that kind of glue guy that for the next 10 years, 10, 15 years, the shelf life for catch is a little shorter. But, I mean, if he can be here and be that guy that's the constant leader, that's invaluable, really.
Jason Adam alluded to it earlier. There's, with a lot of these Dominican Spanish-speaking
We're all getting
guys.
it tonight.
I'm telling you what. Troy's on the brain. With all these Dominican and Spanish-speaking guys, communication's a key. So if you've got a catcher that is bilingual, that's solid.
Absolutely. It definitely, and like I said, pitchers love throwing. So, I mean, Sal Perez, we saw a lot of what Hosmer can do. I think we just saw a little bit of what Perez can do. I'm almost more excited to see him this year just because we can see him for a full season. We pretty much saw a full season of Hosmer last year.
Pretty much, yeah.
So it'll be real excited to see how Sal Perez can do over a whole year. And, I mean, people have said it. Did Goldstein say on the show where he said maybe I just heard it on the radio somewhere, but
he's mentioned
about how Perez might end up getting more MVP votes than Hosmer, down the line.
I think if you're looking at position players, aside from I think Alex Gordon could be a guy, but if you're talking about potential offensive all-stars, when you look at that, Hosmer's got a lot of first basemen to get around. No matter how good he does, he's going to be always
Mark Trumbo.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, Albert Pujols
Wow.
now, and
that's
Mark
right.
Teixeira, and all these other guys, Prince Fielder. I mean, it's loaded at first base. It's always loaded at first base. But guys like Alex Gordon could be an all-star representative in the field. But Sal Perez is probably your best bet for that because he's going to hit the ball, and he's going to be great defensively. And I think there's going to be enough people in Kansas City who might be able to get him at least enough support voting-wise to where, that can maybe, weigh in his favor when they come to select the rosters.
We're looking at a situation here where for the first time in a long time, and it's at the exact right year, the Royals legitimately can say they could have multiple All-Stars this year. I can't remember when the last time we did.
I think it was
like
03.
Ken Harvey and Mike Sweeney or something were in it together. I can't remember who it was.
Yeah, I think it was Mike McDougal and Mike Sweeney in 2003. I think.
You go. Mike McDougal. You did bring that
Mac
up, didn't
the
you?
Ninth.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's better than Mark Redmond.
That is also true. That is
Mark
also
Redmond,
true.
as an All-Star in 2005, I think, had a 5.6 ERA.
That's why
that was our All-Star representative.
It's always funny when you look at people like players and how many All-Star games they went to. Like Mike Sweeney went to like 5 or 6 All-Star games, and it's just it's like, well, I mean, that seems pretty impressive. And then it's like, well, he was on the Royals for all those years. When how many opportunities do they have to have anybody else?
Yeah,
so it kind of
him or nobody, and they can't have nobody.
Now, before we move to another topic, I do have a question for you. How much trouble do you think we got Jason Adam in for this picture? You think that's going to end up running on Fox 4 and getting him in some hot water?
Hopefully not, because Jason's always been really good at this show.
I said it during the break. I think David Holtzman probably had a heart attack when the first time he saw that because
sorry, Holtzy.
Yeah,
you know they're active on Twitter, so somebody's already seen it. So if they were going to,
well, if it's the guy's avatar, he can't be too shy.
They're just goofing around,
right?
It's no worse than jumping to try and rob a home run
or jumping over cars like Joey Gallo.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, but like you guys, like Chris said the first time he saw it, holy smokes, there's $7 million worth of bonuses there. I'm sure the first time that Holtzy and everybody else saw it, that was probably the first thing they said too. So.
They probably, and the second thing they said was, "Don't tell Dayton."
Yeah, you could actually stack all their money that high. That's how you could get there.
We should have asked them that.
Yeah, did you try that? Did you just
just
get a bunch of ones
stack
from
some wads of honeys?
ask him
the only tripod that matters right there.
Ask him if Lane Adams gets jealous of the fact that one of them has a $750,000 bonus and the other one has a $7 million bonus.
I've honestly thought that, and I kind of feel a little bit bad for thinking that because Lane Adams was a 13th round draft pick, and these other guys are, ranked in the top 10 of the Royals prospects. So
I thought it was funny and interesting though that Jason Adam did say, unless Bubba Starling pays me enough to not carry his backpack.
Those guys absolutely know what he makes.
Yeah,
he makes
it's just,
bank.
well, I mean, they obviously know, but you always wonder how much they actually bring it up, or if it's kind of like that unspoken thing where you don't talk about salaries at work.
I bet they talk about it more than you would think.
Oh, hell
if
yeah.
I had to guess.
It's mostly public knowledge. I mean, you and I know what they make.
Yeah. You can look it up anytime.
The thing is, and the funny thing is Bubba's so honest on his Twitter. Like, he's just a kid. You know, you forget that he's a kid, and he's talking about missing his cat. You know,
that was the weirdest thing about last night when we had Duffy on. After the interview, I was driving home. I was like, man, that kid's 20. I mean, I remember, you know, he sounded like he was 23. I'm like, he's younger than me. It's so weird to think that.
Oh, okay, all right. I gotta interrupt the show because Troy's head's gonna explode in about 4 seconds. So, Jason Adam just tweeted out, big thanks to Royalman Report for having me on again. Brooks Pounders just replied to Jason Adam and said, Royalman Report, going to be a great interview. Jason Adam 9's a class act and a stud ball player. Jason Adam replied to Brooks Pounders, thanks, man. You got to go on their show. It's a fun time. So, Brooks Pounders, we are calling you out.
That's your dream
Get on the
interview
show.
right
That's my
there.
dream interview. That's yeah, you want to talk about somebody getting suspended after that thing. Come on your show. Come on, Brooks. Let's go.
I think we'll have to let him know before we talk to him to make sure that. I mean, I'm sure he's heard every name. You don't grow up being Brooks Pounders.
That's got to be your first question, Brooks Pounders. Seriously, what's the best one you've heard? Come on.
There it is.
You legally changed your name to that, right?
And then you got to go into the if you were traded for Doug Fister, would it be a Fister Pounders or a Pounder Fister?
Yeah.
Sorry, Brooks. Never mind.
Now, guess who's never coming on the show now.
I made sure to tweet him before he could possibly listen to this because I can tell you he's not listening live. So
Don't listen to the back part of it.
I will. That's what she said. I've totally lost my sheet here.
I don't even know how much baseball we have. So
I actually do.
I was going to say back to baseball.
Hold on. Let me get this back underway here. Dayton Moore said that he could have handled the offseason better. First off, Dayton Moore said something.
Right.
Secondly, he said something negative about himself. Third, I think this is a very good thing because I think that means that Dayton Moore feels like he's got more freedom to do what he needs to do, which is never a bad thing when your general manager has the freedom to get what he needs to get done. Now, did he make the wrong decisions with Oswald and everybody else that was out there, Edwin Jackson? Maybe, maybe not. I'm just not like. If those two were so great, you know, they would have been a lot more suitors than what there was. I can't even remember where Oswald ended up, but
he's
or not
even
Oswald,
signed
but
yet. No, Edwin. Here's the timeline, and I wrote about this on Kings of Kaufman. November 11th, the Royals met with Roy Oswald's agent, so they've already talked to him. And my theory is that they told them at that time that he wasn't interested in signing in Kansas City. Roy Oswald since has turned down offers from both Detroit and Boston. So, I mean, I want them to sign Roy Oswald. It's not going to happen. I don't think it was ever going to happen. Furthermore, when they signed Bruce Chen, that's kind of what brought this out, is that they signed Bruce Chen on November 23rd. At that time, Edwin Jackson and Scott Boras were asking for a 5-year, $75 million contract from teams. So if, you know, and maybe I'm completely wrong. It's happened before. But if they already knew that Roy Oswald was not going to sign with them, and Edwin Jackson is asking for this long-term deal, getting, you know, Clayton Kershaw money, which he's not Clayton Kershaw, I mean, they're going to go to Bruce Chen. It just makes sense. So I think maybe they could have waited a little bit, but I don't. My feeling is they never had a chance with either of them. Edwin Jackson later on turned down a 3-year deal from Pittsburgh, and also turned down a 1-year, $10 million deal from Pittsburgh to sign in Washington for 1 year and $11 million. I don't think that $1 million was the difference. I think he's going to be pitching behind Steven Strasburg, Jordan Zimmerman, and Gio Gonzalez. That's the sleeper team in the NL East. He can make the playoffs.
I don't even know if you call it a sleeper team. They might. I mean, they're ready to roll over there.
The Braves will find a way to get in there, make a good run, and then blow 8 games to the future
so
of
the
World
Cardinals
Series
can get in
champion.
the world. Anyway, but you know, could he have handled it better? Yeah, maybe. But I don't think we were ever really. I don't think we had a shot.
No, I'm going to tend to agree with you. But from what Troy was saying earlier, I do agree that it's a good sign from Dayton Moore, and the whole freedom aspect. Maybe he has a little bit more freedom. You know, maybe he does, and maybe it's a situation where everyone has knocked on David Glass as an owner because they call him a businessman, and he ran a very successful business. Well, if he's a businessman and business is all about opportunities to make money, boom, this is an opportunity to make money right now. So maybe he's gonna, maybe he has to put in a little bit more, but it's gonna come back to him because if this team is good, this city, you said it earlier, Chris, this city is gonna explode.
It's gonna go crazy.
I mean, my dad has always told me, he's always said, Jeff, you see it now. The Chiefs are, everyone loves going to Chiefs game. He's like, Kansas City's a baseball town. I'm telling you, if this Royals team ever gets good again, you're gonna see it, and we're already starting to see it. Everybody's excited. And I mean,
just look at what you drew in September. You had people. You were drawing in September, and that never happens, right?
No. Yeah, and not only that, there's not a Chiefs logo in the Benton Curve on I-70. There's a Royals logo, and it's always been there, and it's always going to be there. This has always been a baseball town, and people that are just football fans and don't like baseball and think that the Chiefs are everything in this town, I think you're going to see a big change. Yep. But on that note of what you were talking about with Dayton just kind of saying things, then he goes and after saying that maybe he could have made more decisions, then he tells Jack Harry that we'll never have $100 million payroll, which isn't a newsflash. And I think I think stuff like that gets taken way out of not necessarily taken out of context, but taken way out of how important it is. Because really, what would happen if the Royals had $100 million payroll? It really wouldn't make a profit for this team.
Well, what you would get is you would have people complaining that people are making too much money on the team,
and they're underperforming or something.
Right.
Even if
the Rays have not had $100 million payroll, and they've been to the playoffs 3 out of the last 4 years, and it's a situation where if you build your team correctly, if you do the right things, which there was a little shaky start to his tenure, but Dayton Moore appears to have done the right things so far. You can compete without a $100 million payroll. Now, if he would have came out and said, we'll never be at an $85 million payroll, then I might cry foul a little bit because I think 85 is incredibly reasonable for this Royals team in this market.
Yeah, I mean, they've been at 78. So, I mean, it's what's
2 years ago when they were awful, they were at 76 or whatever.
And they still made like $9 million. So if you're selling that place out, you figure that's another 20 or 30 million right there. And so they should be able to at least break even. If they have to go to that $100 million to be a successful team.
There are 9 teams in Major League Baseball with a payroll above $100 million. So, I mean, the Royals aren't going to be in the top third of payroll. It's just not going to happen.
I don't think they should be. I don't necessarily know that those teams are managing their money well.
And because we're the third smallest market in all of professional sports,
something
or
like
at
that,
least in the MLB. I mean, because I don't know who's smaller. Milwaukee is probably smaller, right? I don't know who else.
And you saw what happened with them to throw, and you knew that was going to happen. They were going to throw all this money down and do what they did.
They had to go for it in 2012, and
not smaller, I guess.
Now they,
and now they're going to end up trading. Now they're going to
have a farm system. They don't have Prince Fielder. They don't have Ryan Braun for 50 games.
Well, we don't know that one for sure yet.
They don't have Alcides Escobar.
They're not going to have.
They don't have Unionescu Betancourt.
And soon they're not going to have Zach Greinke, right?
Well,
that's not even funny.
That's where I was going to go. Is after they trade us back Zach Greinke and they get something resembling a farm system again, that'll be kind of the cherry on top of that whole.
Hey, actually, I heard some radio report saying that he's real happy in Milwaukee.
Yeah,
and
they were discussing an
it's
extension.
Now less.
I've heard
likely.
he's probably going to sign there.
It's kind of crazy, just him firing his agent. Has he rehired an agent? Anybody know? That's just nuts.
Is anything like that with him though? Is it really nuts?
I want to be at that negotiating table. I want to hear that.
Yeah, no kidding.
I must get a samurai sword.
Samurai sword.
A lifetime subscription to World of Warcraft.
And a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
And the guy's really, really smart. Of course, we give him a hard time because he's socially inept. But
he's not here.
And he's not here.
I don't think he's socially inept. It's just I think he's going to talk about what interests him, and if it doesn't interest him, he's going to whatever.
He's just an eccentric kind of guy.
Yeah.
And he's in a position in his life where he can afford to be, and people can just put up with it or not care. I mean,
right.
That's pretty much the way it goes. That's
he can just stand up from the table and okay, see you guys. I'm going to Chipotle.
And the thing is,
all the Royals did was pay him more money,
and
then send him where he wanted to go.
Right.
That's a problem to have, I guess.
If they decide that he doesn't want to play baseball next year, Martin Steele made a joke about him mowing lawns next year. He doesn't even have to do that. He had $9 million. You can live on $9 million.
He could do that.
I hope you can live on $9 million.
But Allen Iverson couldn't live on $450 million or something. So that's a whole other story for another day. Staying on the Ned Yost role here, he
right here. What do you need?
Wrong Ned Yost.
No,
you're just the fake Ned. Remember?
That's right. I dropped the Yost.
Can someone set up?
I got some.
Wrong Ned Yost.
Holy crap! The WDAF guy forgot his wireless microphone.
Where did he say that at?
Sitting right here.
Oh shoot! There it is.
Oh, we'll email Valerie.
Yeah. New equipment for
Bang
the man
that
cave.
out.
We'll email Valerie and let her know. And you know what? It's still live.
Yeah, I know.
It's been live
It's
that
been
whole
recording this whole
time.
Oh crap! He's probably listening to us.
It's the Royals.
He pulled
They
the
finally figured.
Costanza.
Yeah, the Royals finally figured out a way to bug our show.
Dayton Moore is rubbing his hands together.
Listen to the Royal.
Petting a cat like Dr. Claw.
All right, and well, hey, we've got
back to baseball.
Yeah, back to baseball. Actually, back to friend of the show. We got a shout out while we're on the topic, even though we weren't. Sam Mellinger got married last weekend, right?
Yes, he did.
Last weekend.
Yes,
Congratulations,
absolutely.
Sam
Nice
Mellinger.
job.
Friend of the show. Came in. We had a great show with him. Lovely wife. We've never met her, but I'm sure she's lovely. So good for him.
He's ruggedly handsome, so she would have to be.
Sorry, and I just kind of kissed the microphone when I said that, so I'm
Yeah, a
sure I
little
blew
bit.
everybody
We're
out.
talking about Sam Mellinger. It's okay.
Yeah, well, Sam has an effect on people because
He looks like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Right. Greg Doyle said he looks like a less attractive Leonardo DiCaprio, and Mellinger said he'd take that. So
That's still 9 out of 10.
I'm gonna have to call bullshit on that one, but that's I'm sorry. We'll bleep that out. But,
after Mellinger gets back from his honeymoon, we might have to ask him to call in and give us some opinions on the Doyle interview. Ned Yost also endorsed Alex Gordon and Gio Gonzalez.
No. That
Why
would
do
be
I
something.
do that? Why do I do that?
It's because I wrote Gio on the sheets.
Yes.
So
He endorses Gio Vitella and Alex Gordon at the top of the roster, and that, of course, would be Alex
1 and
Gordon
2.
leading off. And Gio Vitella
I like
back.
Alex Gordon
I'm
leading
okay with
off.
that. I really like Alex Gordon leading off.
Yeah.
He's not a picturesque leadoff hitter, but you know what? He feels comfortable on the spot.
he gets on base, can hit the ball.
Gio, he's gonna have to produce.
Yeah.
At the 2 because you can't just rely on your speed and your moxie to get you anywhere. But
I think
he's not
it
even
ends
as
up
gritty as Chris gets, so he's
right.
that's
I think it
He's
just
got
ends
it.
up being one of those deals where he kind of looks the part, and they're going to.
Yeah, he looks like a 2.
I mean, who else are you going to put there though? Really, I mean, Lorenzo Cain's not a 2 hitter.
He's not.
More
He's more
like
of a 5'6" guy.
Yeah, he's got a little more pop, a little bigger swing.
Which is a little odd because you're right. He looks like a 2 hitter, but Gordon doesn't look like a 1 hitter.
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
It's a weird team. I don't
Then
know.
Alcides Escobar looks like a 1 hitter, and he is not.
He's
a
like a
1-hitter.
12 hitter. He's like Rover.
That actually sounds like a good idea for a 3,000-word post for me on who should be the Royals number 2.
I like it.
There you go.
Wow.
Do you want to save this thing about the draft reports for another day? Just something we can put in a pocket for when we don't really have anything.
Sure. Let's do the housekeeping on the air.
I can edit it later. So,
yeah, let's do. Yeah,
let's just save that.
I want to dig into that myself.
Okay.
Myself.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this special from Fox is supposed to run the 29th, is what JP's golf mom is telling us. That would be Heather. She's telling us.
He said next Friday though when we asked him. So
That is-
we'll have to get some confirmation.
Yeah, next Friday's the 2nd,
It's not the 29th.
March 2nd.
Yeah. We'll have to get some confirmation.
Okay, so we're going to figure that out. But just watch our Twitter feeds. Royalman Report, Kings of Kaufman, The Jeff Report, KC Royalman, The Fake Ned.
Although the cameraman that came over, he like literally got this assignment an hour ago, so
Yeah,
we're not
so-
real sure. And since he's leaving equipment behind, he might not be working for Fox 4.
And Heather says Valerie told the 29th. So that
Okay,
that's probably-
29th. So
gonna
that's
be-
next Wednesday, right?
Yes.
So we'll be watching
Leap
for
day.
that, and we'll let you know when that's going to happen.
They'll use about 30 seconds of our footage probably.
Yeah.
They
he got
told-
about an hour's worth of footage though.
2
So
hours. He was here 2 hours.
They told the camera he was here before I was, and I got here at 5 after 6.
He was here before I was, and I got here before anybody.
Yeah, well, except Chris
Except
because he
Ned.
lives here.
I live here.
So yes, that will be on, and he was told, the cameraman was told to get enough footage that they wanted to use twice as much of our stuff as they normally would, or something. He told
45
me
seconds.
So we're gonna probably get about 45 seconds.
Yeah.
I'm pretty excited about this actually. So, anyways, let's break this down and get out of here. We've given you about 4 hours worth of Royals talk or the Royalman Report in the last couple of weeks here. So check out the Nonsense Show. Check out Greg Doyle. Check out the show we just did with Gar and Danny Duffy, and of course this show. But until next week, I'm Casey Royalman.
I'm Jeff Herr.
I'm Michael Engel.
I am the Fake Ned.
For Fox 4, Jason Adam. For Jay from Three Guys in a Garage. And for Martin Steele, I am Troy Olson, and we are out of here. Go Royals.
What you trying to be yourself for?
This is the Echo Network.